Hi, this is Jane Brady. I'm chair of the Delaware Republican Party, and with us today is Lee Murphy, candidate for United States House of Representatives. Lee, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, Jane. Hi, everyone. My name is Lee Murphy, and I'm your Republican candidate for the United States Congress. It's really good to be back on the campaign trail, meeting people once again. As you know, we are in a battle for our country. The radical left has weaponized crisis after crisis. They're trying to shut down our economy. They're trying to take away our rights. They're trying to divide us. But let me tell you one thing. They are going to fail. You know, my opponent, Lisa Blunt Rochester, let me tell you how she has failed the citizens of Delaware. And what you get when you get Lee Murphy as your next congressman. Number one, my opponent has consistently put illegals ahead of us. She has put illegals ahead of veterans. She's put illegals ahead of first responders. And now she puts illegals and all of us ahead of law enforcement. Let me tell you one thing. I will always stand with our veterans. I will always stand with our first responders. And I certainly stand for law enforcement and law and order. Number two, unlike my opponent who wants to raise your taxes up to 70%, I will continue to lower taxes. I will continue to do away with regulations that are unnecessary and hinder business. Number three, I will not stuff legislation with pork. Recently, through the COVID, there have been bills introduced in Congress that were set up to directly help all Delawareans, you and me. But yet the Democrats and my opponent, they've stuffed these bills with pork and delayed the much needed assistance that you and I needed in this tough time during COVID. Number four, unlike my opponent, I have actually worked for a living. I laid track. I worked for Amtrak for 35 years as a locomotive engineer and train conductor. You know, the Democrats here in Delaware, they don't run Delaware. They run business out of Delaware, and that's unacceptable. In fact, before this COVID crisis, Delaware in 2019 had 0.0% economic growth. And they were predicted in 2020 here in Delaware to have negative economic growth. That's unacceptable. We need to bring manufacturing jobs back to Delaware. One of the first things I will do when elected to Congress is to work with the president. As we know, our drug manufacturing, life-saving drugs are manufactured in China. This is not only a threat to national security, but we need those jobs in this country. I will work with the president to bring those jobs not only back to America, but let's bring them back to Delaware. We need those jobs. My opponent, next point, my opponent wants to take your guns away. The Second Amendment, I will enforce that as written. And the whole Constitution. We need that Constitution today more than ever. Next point I'd like to make is that my opponent is pro-abortion. Not only for abortion, but she's for abortion after birth. This is totally unacceptable. I will protect life from the womb to the grave. As many of you know or may not know, I was a school teacher. I know what it takes in our schools. Delaware lags behind the nation in taking care of their students. I know that school choice and vouchers work. I know Common Core does not work. And I know that teachers need to do what they do best, and that is to teach. A final point of my campaign, and really it's at the heart and soul of my campaign, is the drug and opioid crisis in this country that we face. My daughter, Christy, who I lost in 2014, battled this addiction through most of her life. I walked with her side by side as she battled her addiction. She finally licked it and recovered, formed a successful business, had 2 beautiful children. Unfortunately, then we lost Christy. Now, this is not an easy problem to solve. I have a 2-pronged approach. On the front end, the president has earmarked $6 billion for the drug opioid crisis. On the front end, let's work on prevention. On the back end, let's work on long-term care for addicts who are ready for help. Again, this is not an easy problem to solve, but if we can reverse the trend and help our families, help our children, help our brothers and sisters overcome addiction, we can do it. We can do it. So I seek your support at the convention. I do have a primary. I very much would like each and every one of you to vote for me and support me at the convention. Let's elect Lee Murphy for the United States Congress. I will help President Trump continue to make America great. Let's take back Congress in 2020. Let's fire Nancy Pelosi once and for all. Thank you for your support. See you at the convention. GoMurph.com.
Well, thank you, Lee. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.